Hi, and welcome to Air Engine Research. I've got some free time, so I thought maybe I'd go ahead and at least let you know what I've been doing the last few weeks. It's cold, as you can see on the picture there, where it's frozen over the lake, and also in my workshop too. It's only 20 degrees when I went in that morning and turned my little heater on, and it did eventually get up to around 40 degrees, but it makes it kind of cold to try to do anything. I've been working on trying to figure out a way to see how much torque the air engine has or will have when I get it finished. And I come up with that oval ring, and I had a fish scale, and I've got a 6-inch pulley on the back of the oval ring, and I put a cylinder on it to act as a drive for the O-ring or the oval ring, and trying different settings and different positions on it to see where I can get the most torque. Whenever it's set at top dead center, where it's at the lowest part before it starts going into the turn, it was getting about 13 pounds of torque on that 6-inch pulley. And then I tried some other settings or positions on it, and I managed to get it up to about 82 foot-pounds or 82 pounds of torque on that 6-inch pulley. So that's doing pretty good. Uh, I'm not sure what it'll actually be when it's hooked up to a transmission, but it'll have more torque than what it did on that 6-inch pulley, because it'll just be the drive shaft directly to the shaft coming out of the transmission. So we'll have to see how well that works when it actually gets to that point. And also then I've been working on the upper plate for the engine, as you can see, and this is where the cylinder will be sitting next to those homemade adapters that are mounted on the plate. There'll be 5 of them, and underneath is where um, the valves are going to be, and that picture there will show you how the valves are mounted. They're underneath the plate, and they are right underneath the cylinder where the air inlet is, so that the adapter that I made for the on top, it screws into the top of the valve, so there's no other connection except an air inlet that operates the cylinder whenever the valve is opened, and then it comes back down through that same adapter when the exhaust port is opened on the cylinder and comes out the side of the cylinder. It works pretty well, and it's much more compact than what the other designs were that I had, where I had to try to run hoses or copper lines around the outside to get to the cylinder. And every design that I work on, it keeps coming out a little bit more compact and a little bit better. So I'm happy with that. In the meantime, I also was working on the lower plate that's going to support the drive shaft underneath the upper plate. And you can see there I have it laying on my mini mill, and it's not big enough to really do what I needed to do with turning it because of the size. I can only get about a 7 inch piece of metal on there to work on. So I ended up having to drill it in order to get the thing turned out. The mini mill just doesn't have enough power to really do a whole lot. I'm kind of disappointed in not being able to do a little bit bigger stuff and a little bit more power. It just doesn't have it. But I do the best I can. And what I did there is I just put it on a little turntable and rotated it and kept drilling a 1/4 inch hole as I turned it till I got it completely around the outside, and then I could get that on my turning lathe and kind of clean up the edges a little bit. So I managed to get it, even though it wasn't the best way. This morning I went up to my shop. It wasn't quite as cold out, and it managed to get up to about 55 degrees in my shop. So I was able to do a little bit of work in there. And I've been working on trying to come up with a way to have a timing advance. When the engine is running at as much as it'll go, if you advance the timing on it, it'll increase the speed by about another maybe third or so, which is quite a bit actually. And in order to do that, I need to try different things. So I'm making everything prototype out of 1/2 inch oak wood. And I'm able to cut out things and design things pretty quick and easy. Whereas trying to do it with metal, it takes too much time and too much waste. And as you can see, I got kind of a combination there where I think it might work. It's going to be, uh, it's going to have to still be modified, I believe, but I did get it to where I think it'll spin and rotate the cams so that it increases the delay for opening the inlet valve and letting air come in. Instead of trying to catch up with it, it'll be coming in a little sooner and be a little bit ahead of what the rotation is doing. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm hoping that it's going to warm up here pretty soon. I've got the adapter plate finally, and also the adapter from the transmission to the drive shaft on my engine. But I still have a little bit of a problem with what's hanging on the end of the drive shaft for my motor. Previously, the hookup had a pressure plate and a clutch disc and a flywheel, and that's way too heavy to be hanging on the end of my drive shaft. So I I'm going to have to make another small adapter that will still hook up to the transmission pilot shaft, but not be so heavy. And right now I'm going to have to wait till I can get some of that stuff cut off with an acetylene torch, get rid of some of the weight, and then turn down the part that I'm going to be using. So it is coming together, but it's slow, and this weather's not helping. So thanks for checking in, and any person who is interested in what I'm trying to do, if you subscribe, check the notification bell, you'll be notified when I come up with any new information. And in the next few weeks, I'm sure there will be quite a few changes that I'll be able to show you. And I'll go back to making the regular video and keeping track of how I'm progressing. So once again, thanks for checking in, and until I can get another video going, stay warm.